Are you ready to vibe? You're listening to Creepy Vibes Only. Is it working?
Oh, that scared me.
Do I have an echo? Are you okay?
It just scared crap out of me.
I don't know what you expected.
Okay.
And how do I sound? Crisp and clear?
That was gross.
I know. Tim does that all the time when we're playing video games with the guys. And it makes me want to die.
It shed like goosebumps. I'm like, ugh, no.
Yeah. He'll lean and he'll be like, hello.
Oh, Emma, stop.
Are you sure you don't want some ASMR?
I thought you actually going to stop that time.
No. Okay, I am done.
Okay.
All right, guys.
No.
Okay. Welcome back to episode 3 of Creepy Vibes Only. I'm one half of the equation, Emma.
Hi, and I'm Steph. Welcome.
I love that we always have like a bit of a weird pause.
I know.
All right, right on. So welcome back. Steph and I were dying last week, like not literally, obviously, because we're still breathing right now. Because some of you know this, some of you don't. We recorded episodes 1 and 2 like right back to back. So like those were set in stone pretty early on, back in like February, March.
Yeah.
And Steph, as the engager that she is, posted a poll. And why don't you tell us about the poll, Steph?
Okay. First of all, though, I got like full like vindication after. I just want to say Obama saved me. Because
thanks, Obama.
So I decided to ask for your opinions on what you would like to hear or what you prefer. And one of the poll was true crimes versus aliens. And this, I posted this poll before episode 2 was released, and 11% of you wanted aliens. And because I'm the nice, a nice host, I gave the 11% aliens on episode 2. So,
which really just tells you she doesn't care what you think.
No, I just
gonna do what she wants.
It wasn't planned, okay? I feel really bad, and give the 11% what they want.
Here to serve the smallest group of the population.
And then Obama did that interview about how the whole alien thing. So you know what? It turned out perfect for me because he's on board too.
As long as you've got good old Obama in your pocket, you're all set. Oh God.
But like, guys, we actually really do care about what you want, and it just so happened that I was pre-recorded, but we will take into consideration what you tell us and what you want to hear. Make sure that we give you what you want.
I just want to point out that she said take into consideration, not act upon. And it's not a grammar issue. It's a result issue. She'll think about what you want. It just won't change anything.
It just won't. It'll change for the future because I have bad news for everyone that didn't want demonic possessions. We may be exploring that today. And for those that wanted true crime, we may not be exploring that today.
Or maybe it'll be both.
We're keeping it spicy.
On that vein, Content warning, because things like demonic possessions do touch on things like suicidal idealization, self-harm, and other sorts of assault. So if you're not comfortable with that, then maybe this isn't the right episode, and we'll see you next time.
Mm-hmm.
So, Steph, what's keeping you up at night this week?
Wow. So nothing spooky this time around. I'm just super... So I've been waiting on this book to come out for the longest time, and it's finally out. And it's all I can do. Like at night, even if I'm super, super tired and it's 1 a.m., I still have to read at least one chapter. So I am obsessed with this new book. It's French. It's called Le Crépuscule des Fauves, de Marc Lévy. It's amazing. It's about this like hacker group, this group of hackers, and how they're trying to right social injustices. And it's actually really, really cool, a good concept. But that's what's keeping me up at night. And you, my dear Emma?
I've been sleeping pretty soundly.
Oh, nice.
But I will tell you about an experience you know about, but our listeners don't. The last time I was able to visit Ryan and Ashley and Maya without having to deal with the pandemic stuff, Ryan and I were home alone while Ashley was out working hard, saving lives as she does. And we were sitting in the living room on our phones, and Maya was asleep in her crib. And we literally heard footsteps in the front of the house. And we thought Ashley was home, but the footsteps were kind of weird. Like there's this kind of like I don't want to say sticky because it's not a gross sound, but like there's a sound that skin makes when it contacts the floor if you're walking barefoot, like we all usually do. Like we're not huge sock wearers for whatever reason. But that sound is absent. Like it was just like the hard contact sound. And we got up and like no one was there. So at this point, Maya was already waking up. So like I held Maya, and like Ryan was like running around the house looking for someone because we thought someone was in the house and there was no one there.
Insane. I remember you calling me like freaking out. I'm like, videotape it.
And again, guys, like I am very much a skeptic, but like it was like unsettling. And like growing up, Ryan and I had like a few other weird situations. Like one time we were at the cottage at Soppel, and it was like must have been like 1 a.m. Like we were up late watching something, and there was this like huge bang on the window, and like the room, like the main living room at our cottage, it's like this like huge glass window that takes up almost the entire wall, and then there's a TV on one side and the couch faces the TV, so you're kind of sitting perpendicular to the window. And yeah, like someone banged on the window in the middle of the night. We looked and there was no one there. And in the morning we got up to look, and like there's like a bit of a garden out front, and there were no footsteps leading into the garden, but there were two like almost barefoot looking ones right at the window.
It's gross.
Ryan will also quickly point out that like nothing weird has happened to him without me being present. So I'm sorry, Ryan. He has been spared. Maybe it's me. I don't know.
That's gross. And, like I remember when you were telling me about that story in Sabo, and like, because it's pitch black at night.
So
and, like,
pitch black.
Just like staring outside the window, I'm like, oh my god,
what is happening?
Scared.
Yeah, and it's funny. Like for those of you familiar with that part of Ontario, like Sabo's like a small town, but it's not. Like it's pretty densely populated, but it's like pitch black at night.
Yes.
Like it's not like where we live, where it's like a city, right? So anyways,
very creepy.
And bring it home, Steph. What are you here to horrify us with this week?
All right, so this week I have a little short one. I figured I didn't want a shorty. So this week I am talking about the Hat Man. The Hat. Yeah.
Sorry, I've never heard of this. This is really, I'm excited.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
It's like, it's pretty huge. I'm surprised you haven't. So the Hatman is this, no one really knows what this is. It is some would say a shadow figure. Some have said it's a demon, an alien, hallucination, a weird sleep paralysis experience. No one knows what this really is, but the one thing that makes this remarkable is that hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of people have experienced the Hatman and nothing connects them. So it's an experience that's been shared by people across borders, across time periods. Some people have seen the Hatman since they've been babies up into their adulthood, whereas others see the Hatman in this when they're in a bad, negative time period in their lives, and he visits them at that time. But no one knows. The only thing that people know is that they've all experienced it's a shared nightmare, and we don't know why.
I need to know what it looks like, because I'm not gonna lie, I'm literally like picturing you like sitting in your living room and like on the deck, like the Cat in the Hat, but like a creepy version's like staring at you through the window.
Wait, you'll see. I'll show you a picture after. Okay.
I'm gonna Google this while you're talking because I'm so curious. Also, apologies if you hear my loud keyboard. Sorry, I'm done talking over you.
Scares people.
I apologize, Steph.
It's okay. So the Hatman is this 6 feet tall, completely dark figure. So that's what makes him different from shadow figures, that you can see through them. The Hatman, you can't. So he's just this very tall figure. Some people have said that he had red glowing eyes, while others say that his face is too dark to distinguish any features. Others say that you can see that the Hatman has some masculine figures and you can only see his smile, which makes it even grosser. The Hatman, he's called the Hatman because he wears a wide brim hat, like a fedora, along with either a long trench coat or a cape. Sometimes people see him with a gold watch that's attached to his belt, and he will, while he's visiting you, he'll stare at his watch and then look at you. And then others say that he has a cane. I know.
That's so ominous. Like, looks like it's time to die. I'm like looking at pictures of him, Steph, and like, this guy's freaky. Like in some of the pictures, he has these like long ass fingers. Mm-hmm. Like he'd be a really good tickler. Yeah, it's really icky.
And the thing is, like, so the Hatman, he appears to people in the middle of the night.
Great.
So
love that.
Some people will they'll wake up feeling that they're being watched, and then once their eyes focus, they see him either at the foot of their beds staring at them or in a corner of the room. For some people, if he's at the corner of their bedrooms, he'll slowly walk towards them while watching. Others have waken up with him leaning over them and just observing. Once they do see him, I know.
So creepy.
It's terrifying. And the thing is that when people see him, they feel this like immense and pure terror where they're just paralyzed. They can't scream, they can't breathe, they can't move. All they can do is watch this thing watching them.
Ew.
And sometimes where that gold watch comes into play, where people they see him staring at them, and he'll just look at his watch, look back at them, and he'll either disappear, he'll float away, or he'll just
like does he Mary Poppins? Like just like goodbye. Like his umbrella, like,
or he just walks out of their room into the rest of their house, which I find to be even grosser.
Yeah.
Because you don't even know if he's gone.
No, you don't. He's just like, oh, is he making waffles? Or maybe he's looking for a knife. Great.
And like, there's like, if he disappears, you're like, okay, like you can kind of like explain it away. But if it's this, you wake up and there's a guy like leaning over you, and then he's like, let me go into your bathroom. Like, you don't know.
What if he's a murderer?
Exactly.
Also, like,
which is what I find.
Like, world's worst roommate, truly.
Mm-hmm.
Jesus Christ.
Like, I'm okay. Like, just float away. Then I know you're not real.
Yeah.
But like you opening my door and leaving into my house, like, I don't know.
No. How about no?
It's just, ugh.
Yeah, I don't like that.
Mm-hmm. But the observing is not the worst that people have experienced with this Hat Man. Some people say that once they wake up and they see him, he will pin them down to their bed and start choking them. And at that point, they feel this intense burning in their chest, like a complete tingling sensation from the scalp to their toes. And all they can do is just, they can just experience it. They can't move, they can't do anything until he decides that he's done with them.
Okay, I need to tell you something. Because
Yes.
that just like made my skin crawl. So I get sleep paralysis every few years.
Mm-hmm.
And it's only when like I have been like extremely sleep deprived for whatever reason, and I have like a really intense and long and deep sleep. So most recently it was,
Have you seen him?
I don't know, here's like, just let me get into it.
Okay.
Sorry, that sounded like intense. It's just like, this is crazy. So I went to Italy with my parents, as you know, for it would have been like March of 2018, I think. Yeah,
Okay.
I think, or 2019, one of the two. And when I came back, I flew home and I didn't sleep for like 32 hours almost. Because I shared a hotel room with my parents the night before, and like, bless them in their hearts, but they snore. And like, I don't sleep well with people in the room anyways. And then I didn't sleep like on the connecting flights from like Rome to Zurich and Zurich to Brussels, but I had like a nice long flight from Brussels to Canada. And on that flight, I sat next to someone who has must have like some sort of restless leg syndrome, which is okay. Like, they were super polite, they can't help it, but that meant like I didn't sleep.
Yeah.
And I was lucky to have like very nice friends like Pat, Christine, and Keitha drove 2 hours to pick me up and bring me home from the airport. But when they got me home, I was like so tired that I slept from like, I don't know, like 4 p.m. until like around 4 a.m. when I thought I had woken up. Because, okay, so when I was little, sometimes my mom would work late because she had a really demanding job. And she worked super hard to like, and so did my dad, obviously, but like she had later hours than him. And sometimes she would like come into my room and kiss me on the forehead and like say goodnight, and I'd fall back asleep. So I woke up, I thought, to something kissing me on the forehead.
Oh.
And then I couldn't open my eyes, but something, I could like feel it leaning over me. And then it was choking me so hard, it was pushing me into the bed. And like, I literally had that same burning feeling. And I like remember like I sat up and like my neck hurt, my chest hurt.
Oh.
And then I went downstairs and slept on the couch.
Oh,
I can be in my room anymore.
See me right now? I've like cocooned myself in a blanket. Ugh.
Okay, I'm so sorry to interrupt your story, but that was like, that resonated
on
with
point.
Me. Yeah, like I don't necessarily believe in this stuff, but like I think it's probably more of a sleep paralysis thing, because like I've had sleep paralysis a few times and like it's always something crazy, but like that, like those same descriptors were like
it's very gross. I'm sorry that happened to you.
0 out of 10 would not recommend.
Well, it's a good segue because so a lot of people after experience, a lot of people think it's sleep paralysis, but then it also happened to people that either never had it or it's just in other contexts that would make sense. So the Hatman became a thing because tons of people went online and posted about it and said, hey, like, has anyone ever experienced this? And turned out that hundreds of people have. And yeah, it just became a bigger and bigger and bigger thing. And the weird things that like when people are talking about, nothing connects them. There's not like one similarity. There's not one factor that would explain as to why people have seen him or experienced him. And with all of that information online, like I was reading stories on like Reddit and different blog posts, and it's disgusting what people have experienced with this guy. Well, this thing, this guy, I don't know. But all of that, there's some common, except from the people not being connected, there's some commonalities in the experiences. He seems to appear in people's lives when they experience very traumatic and negative, aggressive time periods. One person said that they would see the Hat Man only when they were in this relationship with a very violent partner. But once they weren't with that person anymore, they never saw him before. Another man claimed that he tried to commit suicide, and when he woke up in the hospital, the Hat Man was in the hospital room, looked at him and said, "I almost got you."
Oh my God.
I know. So he's attached to this negativity, but then what people don't really know is if he creates that negativity or if it's because you're in that time period that calls to him, because he seems to be feeding off of that. So because of all of that, there's been a lot of different theories of what this is. So a big one is sleep paralysis. A lot of people say that it's the shadow figure that you feel, that choking, that paralysis is key sleep paralysis. But some claims discredit this, or not discredit, but some claims differ from sleep paralysis, where people will see him in the middle of the day. Some people are driving home or driving down the road and see him on the side of the road. Some people have seen him just sitting in their cars waiting for them. So then that kind of makes it doesn't really make sense. If it's sleep paralysis, then why are you seeing him in the middle of the day? And then so then there's some people that say that he is a demon or the devil himself coming to earth to get people, bring them to hell. One person said that when he saw the Hat Man, he asked him what his name was, and the Hat Man said that his name was Scratch, which happens to be an old nickname for the devil. The same thing with that story about the man who tried to commit suicide, where he looked at the guy in the hospital bed and said, "I almost got you." Jesus. And then to tie into episode 2 for my 11%, some people think he's an alien.
What a shitty visitor.
He's here to observe humans, and I don't know what he's observing because he's only watching them sleep, or well, most of the time. But there's also that other theory that he's either an alien, or people say that he's a interdimensional being, a ghost, someone that's astral projecting. Even people say that he's a time traveler. But in basic, whatever he is, in basis, I mean, he's here to observe humans.
And choke them, apparently.
So that's the Hat Man.
Ew. I mean, cool. But like, I don't know. I don't want to hang with him.
It's freaking gross.
Yeah, it's super gross. Ew.
He's very creepy. And there's like loads of like movies. I think he was like The Haunting on the Hill, the last one that they came out with. I don't remember, Blue Manor or something like that.
Blind Manor.
You know those so you know those like shadows that you see in the background?
Yeah.
Like apparently the Hat Man is inspiration to that.
Oh, cool.
Mm-hmm. So it's obviously because of everyone talking about it, it's like growing more into phenomena where people think it's more like a creepypasta, but there's people who actually have experienced this guy.
I love creepypasta. Like, we'll have to really get into that as this goes on, because like it's such a deep dive.
So interesting.
Also, when you were talking about him like being in people's car, I'd be like, okay, I guess he now has a Subaru. Because I'm never in that car again.
I'm not coming into work. Like, no, sorry. Fire me, I'm not dying.
Yeah. Sorry, Paul. Can't come in today. My vehicle is being commandeered by whatever this guy is. Yeah. Mr. Hat, I would like to go to work. Good grief.
Mm-hmm.
I don't love that. I don't love that.
No, it's gross.
Well,
your turn.
Yeah. So before I get rolling, I'm going to be talking about demonic possession. And as I mentioned earlier in the episode, content warning, because like again, like I am going to be talking a bit about suicidal idealization, and like I'm going to bring like some levity to it, obviously not where it's not appropriate, but demonic possession is like a pretty heavy thing. And I want to thank Mount Holyoke University, or college, I guess is they call them in the States. Everything's college down there. The infographics show, NewportRhode-Island.com, Thoughty2. And then I found this like YouTube channel that I'm now kind of obsessed with when I was doing some research, called Crystal and David. And they like, they seem to have like a podcast, blogcast too. And they have like a really cool illustrator who's involved with them. But they have these different like scenarios where it's like, could you survive a horror movie? Could you survive this? And like I watched their can you survive a demonic possession? And it was like very entertaining. So I recommend that you
check it out.
Yeah, it's so funny. And they're very good hosts. Like they're very engaging.
Cool.
So yeah, so to start off, demonic possession. So I always like interpreted it as like The Exorcist, which is apparently based off a true story about a kid in Maryland, and I'll get into that. And like very much like Amityville Horror, because like that movie with, I think it was Ryan Reynolds back in the day. Like I loved that movie as a younger Emma.
I've never watched it.
Oh, we'll have to watch it. It's so good.
No.
Yeah, we're back now that we're half vaccinated, Steph.
Yeah,
it's time for a spook. I previously thought that demonic possession was like, you know, Satan has entered the chat and he controls your body now. But it's a 4-stage process, I guess. So the first stage is infestation. So this is like, think haunted house, like very much like the classic, like I'm in bed and there's footsteps in the hallway. Why do I smell eggs? I mean, if you smell like that in your house, you might have a gas leak. So be careful.
Take care of it.
Yeah, like call the fire department. Things are moving around. There's like crazy sounds like, oh, is like Barbara making eggs in the kitchen? Nope. So it's like that kind of stuff. Then comes oppression. So this is like the demon starts to beat you up, kind of, which I'm laughing at, but like, what the fuck?
It's how we cope.
Yeah, like we said this before, like, yeah, like laughter, especially like that nervous laughter, is very much a coping mechanism. I don't think you getting like someone getting beat up is funny. Also, sorry, you don't get to sleep anymore. And also you're now always sick and you're broke and everyone hates you. Like the demon just starts to like absolutely ruin your life. So they can interrupt your sleep patterns, like waking up at 3 a.m. is a super common thing. Feeling like very unwell. The witching hour.
It's when spooky shit happens.
Apparently. Yeah, with the witches. They can give you like some pretty intense like depressive and physical symptoms. I guess it's common for them to also like cause monetary issues.
Really?
Like, yeah, it just they're
how,
not nice.
Like how?
Well, like you
I guess
can lose...
you're too depressed to go to work.
Yeah, or like something like expensive will break, or like you'll get fired, or someone will get sick if you're in the States, and you're like, oh, healthcare, not public. And like they seem to ruin your relationships. Like everyone starts getting mad at you. Like your spouse is like, you know what? You can go suck eggs. I think I smell some downstairs.
So they're like isolating you.
Yeah, 100%.
Okay.
They're beating you down. And then it gets worse because we get to stage 3, which is obsession. Which, like, I love that it's its own stage, and it's like, shockingly, you're now preoccupied by the fucking demon that's hanging out with you. Satan, take the wheel. And this is where it starts to get, like, more heavy. Like, you're not sleeping anymore. Like, you're just awake 24/7, like, heavy insomnia. And this is typically where things like suicidal idealization will start. And yeah, like, your life is now just like, you're just like, sup, as the thoughts here. That's all you think about. You're just like demon.
Okay.
And next is actual possession. So this is like stage 4.
Oh my god, that's a long process. Just fucking possess and go.
So, right? So I always thought of like possession as like the whole shebang. And I always thought of it as like, you know, like the demon's just there using you as like a flesh vehicle and like has stolen your soul. Apparently that's not the case. So saith the Catholics, who I researched information from. Because, like, again, I'm also like more approaching this from like the Catholic viewpoint, which is just because that's what I'm familiar with because I live in North America and that's super prevalent here. But like possession and stuff is in all sorts of religions and is something that we can look at more thoroughly in later episodes, but I only have so much time. So they explain it as like, rather than it like being like Satan's taken control, the demon has like broken you down into submission at this point.
Okay.
Which like makes sense to me based on like everything that's happened so far. Like you're so like exhausted and isolated, as you pointed out, and just like donezo that they can really like change your judgment and decision making. So the demon can now just like, or demons, because sometimes it's like there's 40 demons in this body, can just like make you do what they want. Yeah, like it's like ugh.
I want to say something, but there's like just
Say it.
No, I'm saying like there's, I don't know, like I'm speechless. It's just it's gross.
Yeah, it's gross. It's gross. So here are some symptoms.
Oh, great.
To see if you're possessed.
WebMD first possessions.
Right. So symptom 1 is xenoglossy, which is basically like knowing new language without having used Duolingo. So like suddenly like I know Italian fluently. Typically it's like Latin or something, but fun. Suddenly you are Hulk strong.
Really?
So, yeah, like super strength is like commonly like it's one of the symptoms. Being like very averse to like holy stuff, being like, get that cross out of my face. Being like a sudden trivia master and just like knowing stuff you have no business knowing.
Okay.
Which is also just like a very Virgo thing, and I felt a little attacked. And this guy named Gary Thomas, who was is a prolific exorcist, and the movie The Rite is actually based on him. So he also included changes in your facial features. Like, which to me, like I immediately thought of like the pillow face filter, and I was like, so half of LA. But like I don't know, like anyone that's gotten like way too drunk has experienced that, so I don't know. In what the fuck? So
What's
as
that
I
again?
was like, so like in summation, like to summarize,
Oh, in summation. Okay, sorry.
That's okay. Here to help. To me, it also like kind of sounds like progressive mental illness.
And it would make sense.
Yeah, I mean, like apart from like becoming like the Hulk and like C-3PO by just knowing every language, like a lot of it
like
sounds
you don't
like
have like you don't have your basic like healthy foundations. Like you don't sleep, you don't eat, you don't have a social circle to support you. Like
exactly. So my understanding from my research is that the church the church now especially works with mental health professionals, so psychologists, to rule out mental illness before providing their style of intervention. And
smart.
Yeah, so that's something that they do. So since this sounds like a total laugh riot, let's talk about how you get your own demon.
Oh. Take notes.
Take notes, guys. You too can have a demon. So option 1, a Luigi board, aka a Ouija board. But seriously, so there's like 2 main ways that you get a demon or demons up in your life. So through like either like a Ouija board or some other circumstances, a demon passes into you and is like, oh, looks like a fun vessel. Let's go. Or someone in league with Satan sends you an express demon via FedEx. They Amazon Prime you some evil.
Oh my
so like
God.
a curse. So my understanding of like you coming into a demon more organically is you are like really struggling and you're an easy target, and through that they take advantage of you and oppress you and break you down until they're kind of able to like pull the strings.
So we can technically tie this to the Hatman, right? Where
Totally.
he appears to people when like their life is at like the lowest point.
100%.
Interesting.
Yeah. It's spooky. Yeah. So I have broken down some demons and I have rated them based on which demons you would want.
Oh, so you can pick your very favorite flavor.
Yeah. So first one is Agarus. He's an old man. He rides a crocodile and carries a falcon.
Nice.
He can give you titles and he can teach you languages, but also can cause earthquakes, which is not great.
I mean, if you're on his side, it could be good for you.
And the thing is, so like, let's say he teaches you languages stuff. You know them, but you can only say like really horrible things.
Oh.
Yeah.
Could be convenient at certain times.
Yeah. So he gets a 7 out of 10.
Okay.
Next is Balaam. Also, apologies if I don't pronounce these properly. I have tried to. So Balaam has an army.
Words are hard here. Okay.
Especially for Steph. So yeah, Balaam has an army. He is a raven. He makes you funny and witty and sometimes invisible.
Oh.
Also, he is a king of hell and rides a bear, so I gave him a 9 out of 10.
Yeah.
Even though bears are lawless creatures. So next guy is pretty cool too. I say cool. I know that these are all not great things, but like I say cool and that they're interesting. Kimarus. Yeah. He is a warrior on a black horse. Also reproduces by mitosis and can suddenly have a mirror image of himself created.
Ugh.
He leads you to treasure. Very cool. And he can teach you stuff. Like he'll be like, this is some facts that you could not otherwise know. I can tell you the future. So I gave him an 8 out of 10. Sounds cool.
Yeah. Yeah.
Aquia has one cool trick, and that is making Sundays terrible because that is the Lord's Day. So 2 out of 10. Barbas appears as a lion. Very cool. Very cool. Will answer you truly. So not a liar. He can cure and cause disease and pain. 6 out of 10. Gape. He has a spooky form, which is like quintessential demon or human form. He's like super into love. And can make you more or less attractive / hot to other people. 4 out of 10. Because he's scary looking. Okay, so next, I only have 2 more. Himal, which is like what the demon that's like mostly actually is the demon that's referenced in the movie Hereditary, which you should also watch because it is a fucking trip.
Nope.
I saw it with Timikita and like literally white knuckled the entire movie. Like we walked out of that just like shells of our former selves.
Yeah, no.
It was intense. Those of you listening, if you have watched it, all I will say is the telephone pole scene. Am I right? Anyways, Himal can give you information and treasure. A lot of them give you information and treasure. That seems to be like the commonalities.
It's very nice of them.
But also sometimes people die. So 3 out of 10.
Oh my god.
And last and also least is Zozo. So
Ooh,
Zozo,
I've heard of him.
yeah, I bet you have, because Zozo
You're not
is.
supposed to say his name.
Oh, I've said it like 3 times. Anyways,
Shit.
his name looks like 2020, so I'm just gonna call him 2020.
Okay.
So 2020, well, this is the one that DMs you on a Ouija board. Like if you start like being like, "Hello, Aunt Margaret, are you there?" Like, it's gonna be 2020 that responds to you.
Yeah.
They cause tragedy. They can make you act an absolute fool. They also encourage self-harm, and they beat you up. So -1 out of 10.
Oh my god.
So now you know how to get a demon, and you have like a sense of like which demon you want to order. So
you've got choices.
yeah, so you like we already talked about how it's going to go when you have them, and the answer is not great unless you pick one of the cool ones and you're chill. So now we're going to talk about the stage when you kind of get sick of it and you're like, I need a young priest and an old priest. So the exorcism stages, and again, this is in the Catholic sense, so I don't know what other religions do, and I'm curious to find out. I'll probably do that after we stop recording.
Yeah, we can do like a sequel.
Yeah.
On this.
Demons Round 2, the Spooky Boogaloo. Jesus Christ. Okay, so stage 1. Also, I like love how ultra serious the like stages of demonic possession and also the exorcism stages are named. Like they're not fucking around. So stage 1, the presence.
Oh.
This is where like it's like bam, demon is spotted. The presence is known. It's Beelzebub. Stage 2, pretense. So le démon tries to pretend to be the victim, be like, no, it's fine. It's just me, Stephanie. Voyons down là. And the priest is like, nope, it's Beelzebub. And 3 is breakpoint. So this is where like the demons, like it stops trying to like pretend that it's the victim. It's like, all right, it's me. And this is where they start to like get crazy and like shit starts to go down. So this is where like crazy sights and sounds and smells start popping up. Like suddenly it smells like sulfur. You hear like crazy sounds going on. Like you start to like see demonic presences. It's all bad. Like it's not good. And the like when speaking of the victim, the demon will now like address them in the stage, like the third person. Like I'm like, yes, hi, it's me, Beelzebub. Yes, I'm in Steph's body. I know it's not great, but I'm here. Like, what are you gonna do about it? So the next stage is the voice, and this is where a Jonas brother gives you a record deal, and it's great. So actually the demon starts talking a lot of shit, and they're like, fuck you, fuck your family, like your mother darn sucks in hell. Have you got that reference? And the potentially priests need to get the demon to shut the fuck up before they can move on to stage 5, which is the clash. And no, not the band, but this is where like shit goes down. There's like crazy physical and spiritual pressure. Like it like is super heavy. And this is where like the priest and demon are like truly throwing hands.
Okay.
Like they're done trying to work it out. It's just time to fight. And the last stage is expulsion. So this is where the demon or demons get yeeted by the Jesus and God, and I guess the Holy Spirit. Like, let's throw them all in there. The presence is now gone. And sometimes the victim like knows what happened, and sometimes they're like, oh, look, it's Tuesday. And they're like, no, it's Friday.
Oh my God.
It has been crazy. Yeah. So it's like a full shebang. Like there's a whole lot of production that goes into that. So now I'm going to tell you stuff about some cases.
Oh, great.
So I'm going to talk about these all like a very, very surface level because I think that they're all on their own more than interesting enough to be subject matter for future episodes in depth. So the first one is like one of the most famous ones, which is Annalise Michelle. So she was a wee German lass, true to my own heart. And she's actually the base of the story or movie, The Exorcism of Emily Rose.
Okay, yeah, I heard that.
So she suffered from mental health issues and epilepsy.
Yes, I remember that.
Yo, it's nuts. And when she was around 20, she became someone who was suffering from suicidal idealization and also hated Jesus. She also started to drink her own pee. And it was not great. Sounds like she was having a really rough go and was not healthy. And priest Josef Stengel was like, this isn't normal. So he secretly performed 70 exorcisms on her.
Secretly?
Well, like they hid it from the world. Like her parents knew.
Oh,
they were like, if you would do 70
how?
exorcisms. The church should know, I guess. And then she subsequently died of thirst and malnutrition.
No, that's sad.
Yeah, 0 out of 10.
Mm-hmm.
So the next one is the one that the exorcism's actually based on. So this was in Maryland in the 1940s. And the victim is known by his pseudonym, Roland Doe, because the church would provide young folks with pseudonyms to protect their identity. Because, like, obviously, especially, like, 1940s to be like, oh, let's go see him, shall we?
Yeah.
So he got a demon from a Ouija board, which is why we will never touch one, because he was trying to call his dead aunt, which I find really sad. Like, he was a little kid, is my understanding. And he was like, I just want to talk to Aunt Mildred. Just talk to her about stuff.
That's so sad.
So he had, like, the classic development of symptoms. The way, like, you know, like there's like the like house is spooky, and then he's getting sad, and now he's getting really, really bad, and then he's spewing stuff. So the family, like, as he got wild, they were like, oh, we need an old priest and young priest. And he was then exorcised 30 plus times. So lots of intervention. Also, apparently, I don't know why I put my notes in this way, in this order, but he also floated and smelled like sulfur. So, yikes.
Wow.
So my last case is one that I'm probably going to talk about in the near future, because I think this is just such a wild true crime story. Mm-hmm. But the son of Sam. So you may also know him as David Berkovic, who was a prolific he's still alive, but he was a prolific serial killer from 1976 to 1977. So for this amuse-bouche, what you need to know is that he would wordlessly go up, shoot his victims with a .44 caliber gun, and leave. Mm-hmm. And I'm going to read you a little excerpt from one of his notes. He had some, like, crazy letters. It reads, I love to hunt. Prowling the streets, looking for fair game, tasty meat. Ugh. The women of Queens are too pretty, prettiest of all, or are the prettiest of all. I must be the water they drink. Sorry, his note is, like, crazy. I live for the hunt, my life, blood for Papa. So,
who's Papa?
He's known. Oh, I'm not into that. So he's known as the son of Sam because he addresses himself as such. His dad's name was Tony, number one. Poor Tony. So Sam, aka Sam
Papa?
Carr. So that's his neighbor, and he was convinced his neighbor was the demon who had, and his neighbor did have a black lab, but he was convinced that the black lab was also possessed by a demon, and the black lab would tell him what to do and command him to kill. Also, like, I'm sorry, but if, like, all the dogs that are going to command you to commit, like, horrific murder, it's not going to be a Labrador.
No.
They're going to command you to throw a ball until your arm falls off. Yeah, or
For
Milo.
Sure, Chihuahua. No, not Milo. Sweet little baby.
Okay. Anyways, in short, we'll get into him more in the future. He got 6 life sentences for his killings, and he's still alive. Anyways, justice for his victims, but also for the black lab. He was so annoyed. Yeah. So that is our little amuse-bouche on demonic possessions. I wanted to like talk about them generally before we get into like addressing them individually, because like I find the whole process like fascinating for how like they come to be, and like how, you know, like they deal with it, like the treatment of it. And I mean, there's still exorcisms going on today, which is wild to me. But they've been going on for like as long as Catholicism and Christianity have been a thing, and obviously like beyond Christianity and Catholicism, like there's demons in, like, I could be wrong, but I would assume almost all religions, if not all. Because I'm by no means a religious expert, but like, I find it like
think like a lot of them, or like it may not specifically be the demon concept, but it's a similar concept.
Yeah, and I love how they've like, I find it like fascinating how they've like broken it down into like the process is like fairly like consistent, and the like treatment is very consistent. Like it's like first your house gets crazy, and then they start to attack. Yeah, like it's like, my understanding of it is that like as you like start to like give attention to like each stage and give it your energy, the demon is like latching more and more and more on. And I was watching this video like on the infographic channel, and I think it was the infographic channel on YouTube, which is also fantastic. And they were talking about how like one victim had like 40 demons in him. Like,
what?
That would be exhausting. I don't even want to be around 40 people. Like, that's just exhausting. Like, can you just imagine that, like, all that being in your head and being like, guys, just be quiet. I'm trying to watch New Girl. Like, can you not?
No.
Yeah, it's intense, dude.
What an episode.
Yeah. I'm like physically tired now.
Me too.
Oh God. Well, guys, thanks for vibing with us.
We will see you in 2 weeks.
Yeah, buckle up. It'll be a doozy. All right, guys, keep it creepy. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you for listening to Creepy Vibes Only. You can find us on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook by searching for Creepy Vibes Only Podcast. We absolutely appreciate and love your support, and you can do so by leaving a review on Apple Podcasts and subscribing to the show wherever you listen. If you wish to get in touch with us, you can send us an email at cvopodcast@gmail.com or leave us a voice message on our podcast's page on Anchor. We will talk to you in 2 weeks. Bye.